Now at 10, we have another bout of wintry weather for us tomorrow. I'm going to break down those details.
Plus, we'll see how crews in Joplin are working to make the roads safe, and the ACLU challenges the death penalty in Kansas in a capital murder case.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
If you thought the wintry weather was over, well, think again. There's still more ahead. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us with a first look at the weather.
Yeah, we actually have a couple more bouts that we are going to see over the next couple days. Now, if you live in our far northern counties, you didn't see anything today. You're not going to really see anything this week, as most of this is going to stay kind of halfway through our viewing area in our southern counties. Still, winter weather advisory in effect for our far southern counties. Most of us are fine after this little bout of sleet and snow. We had about a half an inch to an inch in our southern counties. So south of I-44, it really piled up, and there are still a lot of slick roads out there south of I-44. But this band that rolled through today is gone, but it's going to start to regenerate and spit a little energy toward us as we go through the morning hours for us tomorrow with another little bout of sleet and snow. Plus, it's cold. It's 20 degrees outside. We have a wind chill factor right now anywhere from 6 to 7 to 12 in Carthage, 12 in Grand Lake. So it is going to be a bitterly cold night. Actual temperature kind of hangs out in the mid-teens. We'll break down the rest of the week for you here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you then. Driving in winter weather can be tough, but crews do their best to keep the roads clear. The City of Joplin and Missouri Department of Transportation are always monitoring for winter weather. Joplin city officials say they start planning and preparing for these events in the summer. MoDOT officials ask drivers to be cautious around snow plow workers on the highways.
If the drivers can give us as much room as possible to work, that's really helpful. And if possible, stay back and do not pass. You know, our drivers are typically driving about 45 or 50 on the interstate. And in this kind of weather, you know, that's pretty much the optimal speed.
MoDOT officials say you can go to MoDOT's travel information map to see road conditions and traffic cameras for an idea of how the roads look. City of Joplin's asking residents to nominate people for its Historic Preservation Awards. There are 3 categories. One is for the Leslie Simpson Award, which goes to an individual who's made significant contributions to historic preservation through events and outreach. There's also the Jeff and Carolina Neal Award, given to people involved in historic preservation development. Finally, the Murfreesburg Award. It goes to a group that made significant contributions to improving historic neighborhoods. Nominations can be made through the city's website, open through March 31st. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly announced a $4 million grant to advance early childhood education statewide. The state's Children's Cabinet and Trust Fund received the grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. It'll support efforts to bolster the early childhood workforce and to conduct a study on streamlining programs to make them easier for families to navigate. Authorities filed charges against 2 Joplin residents for a suspected mail stealing spree in the Joplin area. They say 30-year-old Aaron Blake and 27-year-old Emily Sturgis are responsible for stealing mail from more than 170 victims. During the investigation, authorities searched a room at the Tara Motel where Sturgis and Blake used to stay. They say they found opened mail with W-2 forms, car titles, financial statements, and checks and credit cards. Both suspects are charged with stealing in Jasper County. Authorities are investigating the discovery of a person dead in a burned shed in Knoll, Missouri. Crews responded to that fire yesterday morning near North Kings Highway and Railroad Street. They discovered the body after putting out the fire. There is no word yet on who that victim is. An American Civil Liberties Union challenge to the death penalty in Kansas will go before a Sedgwick County judge and question if it's even constitutional. Attorneys for the ACLU are making the case that the use of the death penalty is discriminatory and doesn't serve its punitive purpose. The state of Kansas hasn't executed anyone in more than 60 years, but capital punishment is used in charging and sentencing some cases. Sean Logan spoke to an attorney working on the case and looks at how the Sedgwick County District Attorney's Office is responding.
Kyle Young is charged with capital murder for the shooting deaths of George Kirksey and Alicia Romans in January 2020. While the ACLU is challenging the use of the state's death penalty statute in this case, the director of ACLU's Capital Punishment Project says if the ruling is in their favor, it could have broader impacts.
And that ruling, we would hope, then would be applied to other cases. The other thing that we're asking the court to do is to rule that the death penalty statute overall is unconstitutional.
The ACLU says it has spent more than 2 years working with experts to research and gather evidence about the Kansas death penalty statute and its use in Sedgwick County.
Scope of the hearing is unprecedented. No court has looked at this record of evidence in Kansas. And then also the level of new evidence that we have.
Cassandra Stubbs says part of their challenge focuses on the death qualification, where potential jurors opposed to the death penalty are excluded from the juror pool.
Every study that's ever looked at it finds that it changes who would be eligible to serve on the death penalty. It removes people who are more likely to ask serious questions about the prosecutor's evidence. They're more likely to lead to wrongful conviction.
Cassandra also says their research shows it changes the demographics of the jury, as Black and women jurors are less likely to be represented. The ACLU also points to the research to argue the death penalty is unfairly applied and less likely to be used when the victim is a person of color. Sedgwick County District Attorney Mark Bennett responded to the death penalty challenge in a more than 60-page filing. That included saying that since no trial has yet happened, it's too early to make a decision about this, writing, "In the event the defendant is convicted of capital murder and is subsequently sentenced to death, then the court would be in a position to determine whether the institutional failures described by the defendant were in fact impervious to the steps taken by the court." Bennett adds the issues raised have already been litigated and resolved by other Kansas cases.
Bennett also added in a statement that however the trial court rules, the court's ruling will be subject to further litigation at the appellate level. Kyle Young's case is currently scheduled for a jury trial in October. Coming up, President Biden plans to lift the COVID-19 national and public health emergencies. Plus, 7 police officers in Memphis are now disciplined following the brutal beating and death of Tyree Nichols. We'll have the latest on the investigation. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said he's looking forward to discussing with President Biden a, quote, reasonable and responsible way that we can lift the debt ceiling. The two meet Wednesday for their first sit down at the White House since McCarthy was elected to the post. McCarthy said he wants to address spending cuts along with raising the debt limit, even though the White House has ruled out linking those two issues together. The speaker pledged that cuts to Social Security and Medicare would be off the table. President Biden plans to lift the COVID-19 national and public health emergencies this spring. The White House says those will end on May 11th. Along with that will come the end of the Title 42 policy at the border. While the Biden administration has attempted to terminate the policy, it's remained in place because of orders issued by the Supreme Court and a district court in Louisiana. The White House says President Biden supports an orderly, predictable wind down of Title 42, allowing enough time to establish alternative policies. The Memphis Police Department says more charges are coming in relation to the beating and eventual death of Tyree Nichols. 5 officers are facing charges of second-degree murder and other crimes. Today, we learned several more officers and fire department employees were relieved of duty. We want to warn you, the video and audio from the police videos is graphic and might be disturbing to some people. Reporter Skylar Henry has details.
The Memphis Police Department now says a total of 7 officers have been disciplined for the traffic stop and violent beating of Tyree Nichols. Get on the ground! This body camera footage released last week is from one of those officers, Preston Hemphill. He was relieved of duty the day after the January 7th incident, but it was just made public Monday. Hemphill is seen tasing Nichols, and after he escapes, is heard saying this.
I hope they stomp his ass.
Hemphill's attorney says his client was not at the second location, and he's cooperating with the investigation. Also on Monday, the Memphis Fire Department said 2 paramedics and a lieutenant have been fired for not following policies and protocols. Video shows Nichols wasn't given medical attention for nearly 7 minutes. He died in the hospital 3 days later.
That's almost as egregious as what occurred to him, to just sit there and watch him die, because he could have lived.
5 officers are facing second-degree murder charges, but the Shelby County District Attorney's Office left the door open for charging others involved.
And everybody's walking around nonchalantly like it's business as usual. So it should be accountability for everybody on the video.
The 7th police officer relieved of duty has not been identified, and their role in the incident has not been disclosed. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Memphis, Tennessee.
Ben Crump, the Nichols family attorney, released a statement questioning why Hempel, who is white, was shielded and protected from the public eye for so long. In a report published today, scientists said over the next 3 decades, the planet could cross critical global warming thresholds sooner than previous models have predicted. The study estimates that the planet could reach 1.5 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels in a decade, and found a substantial possibility of global temperature rises crossing the 2-degree threshold by the mid-century. That's even with significant global efforts to bring down planet-warming pollution. A little bit later, Chiefs fans have a lot to be excited for in the coming weeks. We're going to introduce you to one Chiefs fan who brought Chiefs Kingdom into his home.
Plus, we have a couple more bouts of wintry weather this week. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a cold one today. We've had the Arctic air in place for the past 2 days after we were in the 60s on Saturday, and then we had obviously a huge change, and you can see the ice, parking lot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. If you live really from Joplin south, that's where we still have some icy roads, so be very careful if you're going to be out tonight. Plus, it's going to be cold. But look at our temps. Over the past 36 hours, hung out near 20 yesterday, hung out near 20 for us today. We're still right around 20 degrees, but we have that northerly wind making it feel a little bit colder. It's 22 in Chanute, Miami 21, Anderson 21, Carthage is sitting at about 20 degrees. And with these northeasterly winds ushering in that cooler air, makes it feel a little bit colder than what it actually is. Wind chill factors right now sitting upper single digits, and these are going to drop a bit as we go through the overnight hours. Actual temperature about 15. Mostly cloudy skies, so a cold night. All right, so we had sleet and snow earlier this morning. Went right through the metro, but just kept firing in our southern counties. So just kind of a glaze across most of the Joplin metro. Pittsburgh didn't even see a thing. But once you got south of I-44, Newton County, McDonald County, Delaware County, Berry County, the sleet really piled up. Half an inch to an inch of sleet in a lot of locations, which that's equivalent to about a half a foot of snow. So that was quite a bit of moisture that rotated through. This is gone now, but it's going to try to regenerate a bit down through central Texas and head toward us again tomorrow. And then right behind it, another system that will affect us late Wednesday into Thursday. So a lot to watch as we go through the next couple days. All right, let's go through time for us tonight. Just mostly cloudy. We're going to stay dry. Dry to start the day, 7 a.m. As we go through the morning hours, look at sleet and snow increasing northeastern parts of Oklahoma. This is 10 a.m. As we go to about the noon hour, we got a quick band that's going to rotate through. But look at our temps. We're in the lower 20s. The ground is cold. Anything that falls will stick. So even though we're not going to get a lot, it will put a glaze across all the roads that will be slick. And this should go a little farther north, maybe affecting Parsons, Pittsburgh, over toward Lamar. Here's about 1:32 o'clock, still sleet and snow, and then it pushes out of here mid to late afternoon. I don't expect a ton, but still it could cause some issues on the roadway. So anywhere in the white, we're going to just call it minor accumulations because it's going to be a mixture of sleet and snow, so it won't pile up, but it will be a little slick in spots as we go through the daytime hours for us tomorrow. Plus wind chills way down there, near zero. Tonight, wind chill factors only rise to about 10 by the time we head into the afternoon hours tomorrow. So cloudy start, 21 by noon with that mix, 23 by 5 p.m. Definitely cold, plus we have that second system that will follow it late Wednesday into Thursday. All right, 24 tomorrow. Wednesday a little bit warmer, upper 30s, evening showers, a rain-snow mix Thursday morning. Once we get past Thursday midday, we look pretty good. Friday, Saturday, Sunday ahead of our next storm system, which next week looks a lot like this week.
Of course it does. Yeah, you'll see if the groundhog agrees with you on your forecast for,
Yeah,
for the
we'll
down the
see.
road. Thanks, Doug. A football field and touchdown sirens all in your front yard. One Chiefs fan turned his dreams into a reality where he has the whole Chiefs kingdom right at his doorstep. Jaya Brown has his story.
As the Chiefs build their kingdom, I build with them.
Every year, a Kansas City Chiefs superfan brings the championship games right at his front doorstep for friends, family, and even fans to stop by and see the Chiefs kingdom. With over 100 decorations in his front yard, Dennis Basie and his late wife were determined to show the love they have for the Chiefs in the most interesting way.
I got Arrowhead right here beside me. God gave me this incredible common sense and know how to do this stuff, and I really appreciate it. It's just, you know, it makes me keep going.
From the football field to the fire truck, Dennis Basie carefully sketched out every decoration in his front yard to fit his vision of what game day looks like.
And every night lights are on and all the time, and when the Chiefs makes a touchdown, I have a siren on the banister. One in the truck, that's the touchdown box. That cone goes flying up in the air, and then there's a siren up on my gable roof, and I blow sirens every touchdown. And the city just loves it.
Many fans and friends stop by and take lots of pictures and even tailgate at the Chiefs' home. But Dennis tells us he does all of this in hopes to continue the legacy and to make his wife proud.
She tells me a lot of times, she says, "You are crazy." And but she enjoyed it.
Dennis even has a kind of an Andy Reid mustache, you noticed. You might also notice that the Kansas City Chiefs are returning to the Super Bowl. We're going to hear from quarterback Patrick Mahomes following last night's AFC Championship win, just ahead. And a career milestone for a Southwest Missouri high school basketball standout. Jacob Leonard has that and more coming up.
The Kansas City Chiefs are headed back to the Super Bowl. Chiefs beat the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20 Sunday night to win their third AFC championship in the last 4 years. And no doubt they had to work for it last night. The game was tied at 20 with less than 20 seconds remaining. Patrick Mahomes scrambled for a 5-yard gain, but he was hit late out of bounds. And a 15-yard penalty from that hit put Kansas City in field goal range. Harrison Butker came out and delivered the game winner in the final seconds. That was a sweet win for Kansas City, not just because they're going to the Super Bowl, but also because the Chiefs snapped a 3-game losing streak to Cincinnati.
The way we've played the last couple games, I mean, you saw it was very similar to these last games where we get ahead and they come back and beat us, and that's a credit to them, man. They had a great team and great leaders over there. But we felt like we needed to get this win. We wanted to play this team, and we got them at Arrowhead Stadium, and we were able to finish the job this time. And I mean, the job's not finished for us. I mean, we got a chance to go up against a great football team in Philadelphia Eagles. And so we had to enjoy this for about a day and then get right back to it because I've been in the Super Bowl, man, and winning it's a lot better than losing it.
So now they got one more to go. It's going to be Chiefs and the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl on February 12th. The line already moved. Money coming in on Philly. But right now, the Chiefs are 2-point underdogs. With a win in this one, Kansas City would earn its third Super Bowl title. We have a big border battle on the basketball court tonight in Frontenac. The Frontenac girls welcoming the Nevada Tigers this evening. And these two teams just met 10 days ago in the Raider Classic, with Nevada winning a good one, 58-55. To tonight's game, first quarter, Nia Brown in the corner for the Raiders knocks in the 3. Then Riley Green off the dribble. She hits 3 threes in the first quarter. Frontenac leads going to the second. All right, before half-tie game, Maddie Majors knocks it in off the glass. Nevada comes back to lead by 2 at the break. Third quarter, more from Majors. Strong drive and finish. She leads Nevada with 16 points tonight. In the fourth, Hattie Pyle rebounds, puts it back. She scores 13. Frontenac within 2 at that point, but then got a career milestone on the other end. Clara Swearingen, jumper bounces home, and that Swearingen's 1,000th career point. She finished the night with 13. Nevada wins 54-51, and Swearingen leaves Frontenac with a career milestone.
It was excitement and relief both at the same time. I knew it was really close. I didn't know like the exact number, but I knew I was close. It was super great. I was just so excited to see everyone in the stands and like holding the posters and everything.
At the college level, the Kansas State Wildcats have slipped down the national rankings a little bit this week. K-State's down from number 5 to number 7, the latest AP poll released today. The Wildcats lost a tough one, 80-76 on the road against Iowa State last Tuesday. As for the Kansas Jayhawks, they move up 1 spot to number 8. They started last week with a loss to Baylor before rebounding with a 9-point win over Kentucky on Saturday. KU is 5-3, still 1 game back of first place in the Big 12. So the Super Bowl, we have the week off and then we have the Super Bowl. I think both teams kind of need that time in between now and then, especially the Chiefs after all the injuries on Sunday.
Yeah, the Eagles are relatively healthy, I think, but my gosh, the Chiefs, 3 wide receivers, and on defense, Snead and Gay. And
a lot of ice bath, a lot of treatment next 2 weeks.
That doesn't even get to Mahomes and Kelsey. We'll be right back. Take time now to honor a local veteran. Stephen Catron served in the U.S. Army from 1977 to 1981. The Lamar, Missouri native served in the 2nd Battalion, 63rd Armor Unit in Germany, and we are proud to salute Stephen Catron, a 4-state hero. More wintry weather on the way.
Yeah, it's not going to be a lot, but it is going to be enough tomorrow to cause at least some slick roads late morning, early afternoon. Mainly due to the temperature. It's going to be sitting into lower 20s, so super cold. Another little wave late Wednesday into Thursday.
Final sports notes.
Oh, we're obviously going to have more from the Chiefs tomorrow night. We're going to have more from the Chiefs from now until Super Bowl Sunday. Obviously, we're also going to have our special right before the Super Bowl on Friday, Saturday. So plenty of Chiefs content coming up in the next
Whatever
10,
we
12
get,
days.
it will not be enough. But yeah, we are dedicated in our newsroom as well to getting all the Chiefs content we can over the next couple of weeks. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.